Good evening, you guys. So today I left my house. I leave my house like 3 times a year. I put on normal clothes 3 times a year. I attempt to put on makeup like a normal person. I dot a beauty blender on my face with nothing on it just to feel like I have any idea what I'm doing. I stamp a corner eye on. I put a little mascara on, put some earrings on, and boom, I get to feel like a normal person. I went to the high school musical at the local high school with my daughters today. Sitting in front of my piano because I'm probably going to do some piano later. If you have any like really sad, heartbreaking stuff, any requests, let me know. I'm all about like sad music that just makes me want to cry, especially because feeling a whole lot of emotions today, a whole lot. So where we left off is the nightmare with the middle sister-in-law, the power move of it's phone call or we want our deposit back. And it's like, fine, we'll call your bluff. You get to have your money back. So we gave it back. And of course, middle sister-in-law immediately texts, you didn't have to give us our deposit back. We just needed a phone call. And it's like, we know that was the deal and we didn't want to do it. And that's why you got the money back. So the rest of the week goes by with, I don't know, I can't remember. Maybe more stuff happened. I didn't document every single tiny thing, even though it seems like I have. It was impossible. It was impossible to document everything. So on Saturday, had to look at the date, Saturday, June 5th, I wake up to a text from my sister, my older sister, and she shows me a screenshot of a text that my mother-in-law had sent her. And it was a really weird one because it was at 1:41 a.m. And it didn't even say hi, my sister's name. It was just a link to a YouTube. And it was a link to the Donny Osmond song in Mulan, I'll Make a Man Out of You. And that was it. That was just all that she sent. And so my sister shows me that like at, I don't know, 7 a.m. when I woke up. Like I see the screenshot and it's like, wow, my mother-in-law. Not only did my mother-in-law text you, but she texted you at 1:41 a.m. with a Donny Osmond YouTube song link. So I call her and I'm, just like, wow, I'm so sorry. You're dragged into this. What's going on? And she was like, I mean, yeah, it's weird and all and don't really appreciate it, but it's not even close to as weird as the 4-page handwritten letter that Mom got a couple days ago. And I was like, what? What letter? Oh, Mom didn't tell you? She probably didn't want to upset you. Mom got a 4-page handwritten letter from your mother-in-law. I think I'm going to end up having this be 2, unfortunately, because it's so long. So I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I knew when I did that first post about my sister texting with the screenshot and me calling her that I was going to have to follow up. And here I am. I am devoted to you and I thank you for your devotion to me. I'm joking because that's enmeshment. So I just had to read the letter from my mother-in-law that she wrote to my parents again because you're going to see it. You get to see it. For the person who said save it, oh, it's saved like everything else. You're going to see it on the screen in a moment. And the cursive is so hard to read that I just a moment ago had to really read it through twice because I want to be able to read it without struggling to see the words. And I am so angry right now. So just let's get going. But hopefully this is like the other stories that I have shared in detail with you. It's like I feel the feelings, I feel the anger and the disbelief and the frustration and just the audacity overwhelming me. And then that trauma narrative, it's like I can move past it. So here's hoping that when I share this letter with the TikTok world, that I get to finally forget this bullshit drivel. Okay. Do I get to swear here? I think so. Anyway, all right. Dear Bethany's parents, the idea to sit down to write you a letter came to mind as I went to bed last night. After I sent you a text hoping that you might be willing to have a phone conversation with me, I received no reply from you, but instead received an angrily, actually vile email from Bethy. That was one of several equally as angry emails to the rest of my immediate family. My concern for reaching out to you is Bethy's health. As I look back over the years since Adam's, this was a really hard part of the letter for me to read. In fact, I couldn't read the letter for a week or so after my mom sent it to me because of this next paragraph about my deceased brother. But here we go. As I look back over the years since Adam's untimely and ultimately horrible death, I feel that perhaps Bethy still struggles with that loss. You think? That is perfectly understandable, of course. It still stuns us all, and your family profoundly. And then when my husband died, we felt a shift away from us, from Bethy, in large and small ways. And yes, it boiled over into a verbal battle between Bethy and me in March 2020 when I first arrived home from Florida after selling my house. I don't know if I would call it a verbal battle between us because someone was silent in shock and someone else was doing all the yelling, insulting, and swearing. Someone was frozen in place and someone else planned it ahead of time, admitted to planning it ahead of time, intervention style. Part 3 tonight, continuing with the letter from my mother-in-law to my parents. I felt blindsided by a list of accusations and resentments that Bethy had been harboring against me and recited them along with the dates and times that they occurred, as only Bethy can. And I mean that as a compliment to her bright mind and clear memory. I bet that's a compliment. The level of my anger in that moment shocked us all, and I know for a fact that I have never shouted at anyone in my life before or since that day, and hope to never again. It was totally out of my nature. Or it was your nature, your malignant narcissist nature, and that's the first day that someone was going to face you for what you've done. Since that day, I of course have apologized many times. That's BS. I hoped to apologize to the two of you as well, but have been blocked from that by Bethy. All right, so what she means there is if you haven't seen the kitchen table confrontation, she called my family twice sad, angry, and cruel, said that my upbringing had led to the bad person that I am. So she's probably assuming I told my parents that, which I did. So, and she's been blocked from apologizing to them by me. Have I taken her phone? She looks like she wrote him a letter. Could she apologize here? Nope, we'll see that she still doesn't. I have nothing but admiration, respect, appreciation, and affection for your whole family. I've taken so much joy from sharing the beauty of your family, community values, and life experiences with people in my life. I'd always hoped that you held our side of the family in the same regard. When Bethy and Matt married, I saw us as the same family and assumed you did as well. Enmeshment. And word salad. That being said, I have no knowledge or control over what is said about me to each of you. That's why I was hoping to speak with you in person over the phone. Bethy never talks with me on the phone, and I'm blocked by her anyway, so it's frustrating and feasibly impossible to communicate and share what the other person is really thinking, feeling, and hoping for. We can't share our hearts. I can't hear tone of voice or intention with her one-sided angry emails. She essentially banned me from their home. Not essentially, I banned her from my home. Banned me from their home. They decided not to fly to Wildwood with me and banished me from riding down with them. Man, crazy words. Anyway, Bethy is planning to have small talk with the rest of us during that week. I'm concerned about Bethy's health. Her emails and communication is so upsetting and out of the realm of normal relationships that I'm asking for your insight, guidance, and involvement in proceeding. My concern is for Bethy. I've loved her like a daughter since the day that I met her. I am also concerned for my son, with a capital S, and for Gabby and Sophie, my daughters. Little Zeke too. She's concerned for my dog. That's how nuts I am. So I guess I am asking for your help. You know your precious child the best. Please help. One mama to the next, and daddy as well. With love and concern, mother-in-law. God's blessings to you all. Is fire? Hey guys. So 2 points of quick business. First, we are sitting in my greenhouse because we have a wind warning tonight and are supposed to get gusts up to 80 miles an hour. So I'm just gonna enjoy sitting in my greenhouse while it still is here standing on my property. The second thing is that try not to look at my chin, even though we're gonna be talking about things. So I have a venous malformation in my chin my whole life that sometimes gives me the appearance of a lovely butt chin. And when it gets swollen or I'm cold or things like that. And for the first time in my life, it's leaking. So I drew a line around it. So yeah, that's a marker. That's a Crayola washable marker that I drew around it because I want to know if it gets worse this afternoon and if I should go in. I was trying to think what could have happened to it because it's never happened in my entire life. And then I was like, Could crying? Could, could I have been feeling such intense emotion that my face is exploding? Anyway, you weirdos that like to feel feelings, I do not enjoy it. So, for those who are concerned about my mental health following my post 2 nights ago, thank you, truly. I would like to clarify that it's not only about the sharing of my narcissistic mother-in-law's letter. A few viewers have mentioned, I know it's totally well-meaning and you guys caring about me, and thank you. People saying things like, yeah, I'd feel that way too after that letter from my mother, from a mother-in-law, or you can stop retelling the story if it makes your trauma worse. And a couple things there. Telling this as trauma narrative has been immensely helpful for me to get past it. I've said it before, but the things that used to rattle around in my head are now like kind of gone because I have done it. And so my 3-part series about my mother-in-law's letter to my parents didn't like send me into that much of a spiral. Really telling that story is only part of my journey so far. So I'm seeing a psychotherapist once weekly. I'm doing a lot of journaling, meditating, piano playing, and pretty much processing and digging through memories every moment of my day that I'm not working or otherwise trying to be a parent and a human. And so, yeah, telling that, for those who are potentially concerned that the telling of the story is like killing me, it's not. There's a whole lot going on in therapy and in my own self-study that is also pretty intense that I'll probably talk about too at some point. For now, I'm just telling the narc abuse story. And I'm sure I'll have to keep saying this too, but I am technically no contact with my in-laws. The breakdown wasn't from contact with them or anything like that. So continuing on, for those who are engaged in my story and are pretty much following chronologically, thank you as usual for your engagement. So it's still the first week of June 2021, and we just had that little arm wrestle with middle sister over give us a phone call or give us our money back. And we're like, okay, well, here's your money back then. And then my husband on Thursday, June 3rd, 2021, sent that pretty clear, scathing email to his family saying that we were giving the money back, and he didn't want to have any more communication with anyone unless they had lost a limb or were bleeding out. I know I foreshadowed this then, but I'm going to foreshadow again. That's going to come into play pretty soon here. Also in his email to his family, he said that the next communication from him would be fulfilling something he had told his dying dad, that he would help his mom budget for the future, figure out how much to be pulling from her retirement accounts per year, and that would be the thing that the family would next be hearing from him on, and then he didn't want any contact with anyone after that until vacation. So before I go much further, I'm going to back up and just talk about how my parents' reaction to the letter. So they didn't respond to it. My dad really, really wanted to call my mother-in-law and like explain all the hurt and what was going on, and how simply some heartfelt apologies, would do wonders. And I begged him not to, knowing that it would, I didn't know that they were narcissists at this point. I didn't know that narcissists were incapable of any introspection or being sorry, but I knew enough in my gut to be like, she is not going to listen to you. We have written her page-long emails telling what needs to change, and so don't waste your time doing it. And so they didn't respond via text, email, etc. As for whether my husband asked my mother-in-law why the hell she would send a letter like that to my parents, he didn't. He didn't do anything about it. He should have. At this point in the game and moving forward, a common theme is that we literally don't have time to address one insane, damaging thing before the next occurs. This is probably where we are entering harassment territory if we weren't there already. So the following week, on June 8th, my husband emails her that he wants to discuss her finances, that he's creating a shared document, and he ends by saying, I'll do it as soon as I can, but I'm taking the girls to swimming lessons every single day, and in the afternoons, I'm training zipline guides at a zipline place where he works in the summer when he's not being a teacher. He says, I'll text you when I'm officially ready to get started with looking at it, because when I log into your financial accounts, they're going to either send you an email that someone remote is trying to log in, or they'll send you a text with a verification code, and I'm going to need that information, and so I'll let you know when I'm ready to start. A couple hours later, she sends this email. I didn't blur out the names in it because since I've kept the name of my mother-in-law and my in-laws private, you're not going to know anything about the names in this email. So I think it's just a lot of word salad. She changes the subject. You guys, we're so close. We're so close to the don't communicate with me unless you've lost a limb and are bleeding out. So we've got to do it. I'm ready for bed. I've got my Coke bottle glasses on because I drank well water on the farm as a kid. I wish I was joking. Oh, hey, and while I'm close to the camera, for those who are worried about my chin, it's doing a lot better. Thanks for your concern. So, husband did the thing where I'm going to work on your finances, but I'm kind of busy right now. And she sent back the email in my last post about how total changing the subject and I am amazing to everyone in the world and you should love me too. And so then she texts. And her text is, please be sure to pack your team, our last name shirts. So she had bought us shirts that said team, our last name, and then it had like all of our names on it. I'll save my opinion on that shirt for later. Pack your shirts. We all are, and I'm printing some for the Baltimore relatives and the rest of the family, plus all 7 of the grandkids. You may want to check your VRBO details to see if you need to bring your own linens. That's always been the case in the past with our rentals in Wildwood. So that was Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. So then my husband texts back her the next day on June 16th and says, Mom, it's these types of texts that I had referred to in my email as not wanting to hear until closer to vacation. Please look back at my email. That's all he said. I was hoping to do a cool effect here for like, this is where we enter the twilight zone, but I'm ready for bed. I'm tired. You're all tired. So let's just plow through this. So on June 18th, I'm going to pull up some screenshots for your enjoyment. So how this is going to read is on the left, you'll read all the way down the column, on the middle, all the way down, and then on the right, all the way down from top to bottom. So here we go. Just got home from Memorial Hospital ER. Long story short, I am perfectly fine. No injuries, just sitting here eating, drinking water, and my neighbors brought me home from the hospital, and I am now relaxing while my drugs wear off. My husband responds, okay, fill me in more when you can. Mother-in-law responds, I can fill you in when you have time for a phone call. So anytime today. I'm in for the duration tonight. Love you. Too much info for texting. My husband says, okay, about to eat with the family. Can you give me an abridged version to ease my mind? She says, sure, honey. Crazy story. I got 2 fingers accidentally stuck in a heavy wrought iron picture frame holder that I accidentally knocked over at a neighbor's garage sale at about 11:30 this morning. I knew immediately, thank you, God, for my broken wrist, that I could not get free without the firefighters with their jaws of life. No kidding. I know of what I speak. So the wonderful Part 2 of she's bleeding out, I guess, is what this has now become. Briefly, so today someone had said to me, this is better than the Dear John podcast. This is like a Lifetime movie. Girl, you're my new HBO. To be fair, I think you were all the same commenter, which thank you. I laughed and enjoyed all of that. But I did add my Venmo to my profile. So if you feel like contributing to my potential spring trip to take my girls to a water park hotel, dear user who thinks I'm your new HBO, hey, I'll take a little Venmo. So anyway, let's move on with this story. Here come the screenshots. For those who didn't hear it the first time, we're going like this. So across and then, all the way down, not across. You'll figure it out. So where we are at is, I know of what I speak, bottom left. So the wonderful garage sale ladies believed me, helped me to stabilize the frickin' heavy, well-made piece of wrought iron, $5 garage sale item until the fire truck arrived. Volunteer firefighters in the town she lives, so it took quite a while. But I was cheerful, the women were wise, caring, brilliant women, moms. Their wonderful middle schoolers were there too. Everyone was helping me. We became intimate friends as they wiped my runny nose, tucked my hair behind my ears, sprayed olive oil on my fingers to no avail, and walked over to my sweet neighbors, Jane and Doe. Then there's a huge unicorn emoji with stars for eyes. Anyways, Sandy, whatever, Jane, has been an RN for 41 years and came running over with ice. But by then the firefighters had arrived. They wanted to use that big clipper on me, but needed to manipulate my arm and etc. So I had to say, no way, I need total pain relief before 1 millimeter. They listened to me, believed me, and called for an ambulance. When they got there, 2 paramedics helped me. One gave me 2 drugs. First one was to calm me down. They were hoping that would do the trick. But I said, no way, and they listened and gave me the good pain drug. That was all I remembered until I woke up in the ambulance. I actually believed I had died. But all was good. Dad was good. All of you kids were good. The grandchildren were good. My home and finances were good. So I was in total peace. I then started to wake up, could see out the back window of the ambulance and knew exactly where I was, and we were driving down some roads that I won't say, I guess I will, to get to the ER where I spent too many hours to count with Grandma and Grandpa. So they were with me and I had no fear. Her parents are dead. My neighbor was by my side. Well, the drugs continued to wear off, the big thing that had me trapped in back of the garage sale. The ER doctors listened to our story. I was released. A neighbor picked them both up at the ER entrance and brought her back. Part 3. Let's keep going. So unfortunately, I have to show you just a tiny bit on the bottom right of this past screenshot. So the reason I say unfortunately is because green screen slows down my uploads, but it's really important to me that you see the bottom right hand of the screen, because that final line is just so insanity, that the neighbor picked her up at the ER entrance and brought her back to the garage sale neighbors, who she is thrilled about giving her a standing ovation. What is going on? All right, so now we'll go all the way down the left, all the way down the middle, all the way down the right. It's a little bit cut off on the left, but oh well. So after she got that standing ovation, she showed her neighbors that I was perfectly fine. We cried, we laughed, and they presented me with the key to their neighborhood pool to use anytime my grandchildren visit. So I was still wimpy and wobbly from the drugs, so neighbor drove the 1.5 blocks to my house, parked my car in the garage, walked me inside, got me to my couch to wait till the drugs have left my system. I think they are pretty much gone, but I am sitting here for the rest of the night. There, I told you the whole abridged story. Love you all. I am worried about nothing. All is well. I love you all with all of my heart. Please give your children a big hug after you tell them this whole story and tuck them into a bed with a big hug and kiss from their grandma. I didn't tell my daughters this story of utter disbelief. After a big hug and kiss from their grandma, who adores them more than life itself. She adores them so much that she'll yell and swear at their mother in front of them for 3 hours. Good night, son. Happy Father's Day. I'm going to spend Father's Day with her dead parents. This will be my first time visiting since you and I were at the burial place that day together and then drove back to the U to get Dad and bring him home. Do you remember that day? Dad was with me too. He's dead. Through this whole ordeal, God is good all the time. Love you. Good night, Mom. Then she picks right back up. Oh my God, right? I know, believe me, not one, not me, the strangers who are now my friends for life, my wonderful neighbors, the paramedics, the first responders, the ER doctors. None of us knew we would be starring in a Hallmark movie, the worst Hallmark movie ever made, today. You, the oldest sister-in-law, a friend, middle sister, whenever she calls, odd comment. But we were. Dad designed it, God orchestrated it, and I just watched it play out. I feel like God would be like, don't involve me in this, you psycho. Crazy way to show us, but it worked. Love you, number 1 firstborn perfect son. You are so loved. And then there's a gif about you are amazing. And then P.S. The above message came straight from Dad, no lie. But that is another long amazing story that I will tell you another time. I'm too tired right now. I'm going to rest and watch TV. Love you all. My husband says, sheesh, so I'm a bit unclear. You broke some fingers or your wrist or both? And she says, nope, none of the above. So when you can call me, we'll talk about. You guys, it's late, but let's get into it. So Friday, June 18th is when we entered the Twilight Zone and my mother-in-law hijacked a garage sale for attention and used a whole bunch of medical and volunteer resources. Anyway, we get the point. We don't even know if it happened, right? Anyway, except I think it did because she loves attention. Anyway, let's get going. Oh, yeah, and before I share the screenshots, for those who are concerned that my mother-in-law actually needs a mental evaluation, I agree completely. So I would say definitely more than 5 times, probably less than 10, but not by much. Throughout the last 2 years, has my husband brought up to his sisters that mother-in-law needs some sort of assessment because things aren't okay, and the sisters would always respond back that it's the grief. She's going through so much grief, and there's so many life changes going on for her right now, and I don't deny that, absolutely. But it would always come back more as she's just not used to these new boundaries. You're not seeing her. She's grieving because you're not letting her come over as much anymore. So it was our fault that mother-in-law was losing her mind. So ambulance day was Friday, June 18th. This is June 20th at 6:20 p.m. It's a text to my husband's cell phone and his email, so he gets it twice up there at the top. And it's, so the text from mother-in-law is grandma and grandpa, great grandma and grandpa, and uncle, her brother, say hi. I love you. All is well. No worries at all. P.S. Adam says ditto. That is the name of my deceased brother. Please keep him out of your mouth. Then a bunch of emojis, and then uncle, her brother, is coming to rescue me. Details later. And that's it. That's all that she texts. So I plead with my husband, please, for the love of God, don't text her back. And so I have a really good relationship. These are the relatives that, if you closely follow me, we went to see them on Thanksgiving. I love these relatives. So of this uncle, the brother who's rescuing her from what's she being rescued from? I text the aunt, my husband's aunt, who I have a great relationship with, tell her, does Janine need rescue? Her name doesn't matter. Let's keep going. Does mother-in-law need rescuing? And she's like, my aunt is like, yeah, it's a long story. We've got it taken care of. I don't know why mother-in-law would text you. We've got it handled. No worries. We'll talk about it later. It's like, you guys, I'm going to Pentatonics tonight with my 6 and 7-year-old. Can't wait. Target Center, Minneapolis. So let's do the damn thing before I go in and get groceries. Because it goes without saying that when I get home from tonight's event, I'll be so triggered from various things. That's not funny. So we had the Friday ambulance. We had the Sunday Father's Day. I'm getting rescued. Texted my aunt, who said, we're on it. We've got it taken care of. And so we didn't respond through that event. So on Tuesday, June 22nd, we get what you're seeing on the screen. So it kind of goes top left, top right, bottom right. And so the reason I decided to include pictures of her face is because look at that cute little angel of a lady. Surely only a monster would not get along with someone that cute. And I also made sure that you could see that there's a video there, a video bottom left, and a video top right. So 11 media files came to my husband in quick succession. 8 were photos, 3 were videos. The videos were at least 2 minutes in length. And in 2 of the videos, she's shooting video of herself while driving. In fact, in the top right, if there's a way that you can zoom in, you'll literally see the reflection of the road and the reflection of a car that is in front of her. In Minnesota, it's illegal to be on your phone and drive. So what these videos and photos are of when 2 days previous she went to visit all of the dead people she knows at cemeteries. I'm not saying that's bad, it's just the most concise way to say it. Then that afternoon, you see that she's texted down here at the bottom about new additions to Dad's man cave or something like that with 4 additional photos. You see 4 photos. And the reason this kind of strikes an annoying spot with my husband is because he's told her several times that he's concerned about her spending, as had his dying dad before his dad died, said that they were very extremely concerned about her spending. And so my husband has already literally told her, isn't being a passive aggressive about it, is assertively telling her, stop spending money on frivolous things. And so that's why this kind of, might seem like mean that I'm like making fun of it or whatever, but it's just kind of she's kind of being a bully with it. He's literally told her, stop buying dumb stuff, and she sends 4 photos of just random crap for the house. So before I moved on to part 2 for this morning, what had happened is mother-in-law drove to the burial site of her dad, got lost, couldn't figure out the location thing and the little kiosk, and so called her brother in a panic to come save her and help find it. All right, let's finish this little part up. My husband doesn't respond to those things on Tuesday, June 22nd, and then on June 23rd says this. Mom, these are the types of texts that I don't need. I was still trying to piece together what happened with your ambulance pain meds thing, and then the next day I get a whole tour, sorry, I'm trying to read this, of Fort Snelling, then super late night texts, and then to see new decorations in your house. Please don't take videos while you're driving either, even at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Anyone that was out walking around that day, I see you could hurt them, I don't know, whatever. I see you falling into a lot of the same cell phone pitfalls that I try to educate teens about in my classes. He's a high school teacher. If you want any information on how to set up Do Not Disturb while you're driving so you're not tempted to use your phone while driving, or how to set screen limits for yourself, you can find all those things in your iPhone settings. She responds instantly. Okay, thank you. I hear you. I am glad you reached out, as your aunt in Baltimore asked about you this morning. The oldest sister-in-law barely have room for my body in their car when they pick me up at the Philly airport for the Wildwood vacation in August. So I was planning to send my linens and etc. ahead to the Baltimore aunt, who could bring them in her car for me. Let's see. Turns out they don't have room for my stuff either, so the aunt suggested that I ask to have my things brought by you, Bellplain family. I said I'll ask, so now I'm asking you. P.S. I was only trying to videotape myself narrating the directions to the grave sites as Uncle, her brother, was guiding me with his car. I was driving 12 to 17 miles an hour. The streets were deserted because it was raining. Uncle, her brother, did not know the gravesite numbers. He could only show me. I am alone. I do whatever I need to get by. I could not take notes or read the road signs in the rain, so I needed to videotape myself narrating the route so I can find the grave site the next time I visit alone. I am a widow and am finding my way every day. About the ambulance ride ER visit, I'll tell you sometime when we're face to face. Until then, take care. I love you. No worries, especially about texting. It's illegal in Minnesota, and I'm a dutiful, law-abiding citizen. What? I will never use my phone while driving. What? Until 1 second before I get creamed by a big truck because I forgot about it. I pray that day won't be coming soon, unless Bethy is prophetic in suggesting I'm a short timer on earth. I have no idea what she's talking about there. None. There's no secret conversation. No clue what she's talking about there. In that case, I will say no worries. All will be well. Long live the Queen. So lucky you guys. Here's our first day, our first text where she starts from here on out, signing her name as the Queen, and long live the Queen. Also, Maddie, I thought I was very carefully sending these things to your email. Was I not? Even though we're on an iPhone.